Hello, and welcome to TaleTalk English. Today, I will share a powerful and emotional story that will help you improve your English through real feelings, simple language, and deep meaning. This story is about responsibility, regret, and a doctor whose one mistake changed many lives forever. As you listen, you will learn new words and understand how English is used in real life. Now, let me tell you my story. My name is Daniel Carter. I am a doctor. I work in a large hospital in the city. For many years, people trusted me with their health and their lives. I loved my job. I believed that helping people was the most important thing I could do. Every morning, I woke up before sunrise, I drank a cup of coffee, and drove to the hospital. My days were always busy. There were patients to examine, reports to read, and emergencies to handle. Being a doctor was not easy, but I was proud of my work. Many people told me I was one of the best doctors in the hospital. Young doctors often asked me for advice. Nurses respected me. Patients thanked me for helping them. I worked hard, and over time I became confident. Maybe too confident. One Monday morning, the hospital was unusually busy. The emergency department was full. Ambulances arrived one after another. I had already worked a long shift the night before. I was tired, but I decided to stay and help. I can handle it, I told myself. That decision would change everything. Around noon, a nurse brought me a file. "Dr. Carter, we have a new patient," she said. I looked at the file. The patient's name was Sarah Williams. She was 32 years old. She had come to the hospital because of severe stomach pain. I entered her room. Sarah looked uncomfortable, but she smiled politely when she saw me. "Hello, doctor," she said. "Hello, Sarah. Tell me, what happened?" She explained that the pain had started suddenly that morning. It had become worse during the day. I asked questions and performed an examination. Then I reviewed her test results. At first, I thought it was a common stomach infection. I had seen hundreds of similar cases before. Without spending much time on the case, I made my decision. I prescribed medication and prepared to discharge her. Before leaving, Sarah looked at me with worried eyes. "Doctor, are you sure it's nothing serious?" she asked. I smiled. "You'll be fine. Get some rest and take the medicine." She thanked me and left. A few hours later, I forgot about her. The next morning, I arrived at the hospital and immediately felt that something was wrong. People were speaking quietly. A nurse approached me. Her face was pale. "Dr. Carter, we need to talk." My stomach tightened. "What happened?" "It's Sarah Williams." The name sounded familiar. "The patient from yesterday?" The nurse nodded. "She came back during the night." I felt cold. "What happened?" "Her appendix had ruptured." I stared at her. "What?" "They operated on her immediately, but there were complications." My heart started beating faster. Complications? That meant something had gone terribly wrong. "Is she okay?" I asked. The nurse looked down. "No." The hallway suddenly felt silent. I couldn't move. I couldn't think. A terrible realization entered my mind. I had misdiagnosed her. I had sent her home. Because of me, valuable time had been lost. I walked into my office and closed the door. For several minutes, I just sat there. I replayed the examination in my mind. The questions, the test results, the symptoms. How had I missed it? Then I remembered. I had been tired. I had been rushing. I had assumed I knew the answer before fully checking. For the first time in many years, I felt fear, real fear. That afternoon, I was called to a meeting. The hospital director was there. The chief medical officer was there. Several administrators were there. Everyone looked serious. "Dr. Carter," the director began, "we are reviewing Sarah Williams' case." I nodded. We need to understand exactly what happened. I swallowed hard. The meeting lasted more than 2 hours. They asked many questions. I answered honestly. I explained my decisions. I explained what I saw. I explained what I missed. When the meeting ended, I felt exhausted, but the worst part was still waiting. Sarah's husband wanted to speak with me. The next day, I met him in a private room. His name was Michael. He looked tired. His eyes were red from crying. For a moment, neither of us spoke. Then he looked directly at me. "You were her doctor?" "Yes." He nodded slowly. "My wife trusted you." Those words hurt more than any accusation. I lowered my eyes. "I'm sorry." He shook his head. "Sorry won't bring her back." I felt a heavy weight inside my chest. "I know." The room became silent. Finally, he stood up. "I don't hate you," he said. That surprised me. "But I need you to understand something." I looked at him. "One decision can change a family forever." Then he walked away. I never forgot those words. Over the following weeks, the hospital investigation continued. Every report was reviewed, every test result was examined, every action was analyzed. The investigators discovered something important. The signs of appendicitis had been visible. Not obvious, not easy, but visible. If I had taken more time, I might have recognized them. That truth was painful because it meant the mistake was real. I could not blame bad luck. I could not blame anyone else. I was responsible. One evening, I sat alone in my apartment. The room was dark. I looked at a photograph from medical school. In the picture, I was smiling. I looked proud. I remembered why I became a doctor. I wanted to help people. I wanted to save lives. I never imagined I could be the reason someone died. Tears filled my eyes. For the first time in years, I cried. Not because I was afraid of losing my job, not because people were judging me, but because a woman was gone. A family was suffering, and I had played a part in it. Several days later, the hospital made its decision. I was suspended for 6 months. Some people thought the punishment was fair. Others believed it was too light. I accepted it. I knew I had made a mistake. During those 6 months, I had a choice. I could feel sorry for myself, or I could learn. I chose to learn. I attended medical seminars. I studied diagnostic errors. I read books about decision-making. I learned how fatigue affects the human brain. I learned how confidence can become overconfidence. Most importantly, I learned that even experienced doctors can make dangerous mistakes. One day, a professor said something that stayed with me. "Good doctors do not believe they are perfect." I wrote that sentence down. I carried it with me everywhere. Months passed. Slowly, I began to change. I became more careful, more humble, more aware of my limits. When my suspension finally ended, I returned to the hospital. Walking through those doors was one of the hardest things I had ever done. Some people welcomed me back, others avoided me. I understood both reactions. Trust takes years to build and seconds to lose. On my first day back, I met a young patient named Emma. She complained of stomach pain. Immediately, memories of Sarah returned. Fear appeared inside me. But this time, I did something different. I slowed down. I reviewed every detail. I ordered additional tests. I asked more questions. I checked everything twice. The test revealed a serious condition that required immediate treatment. Because we found it early, Emma recovered completely. Several days later, her parents thanked me. As they spoke, I thought about Sarah. I wished things had been different. I wished I could change the past, but I couldn't. None of us can. All we can do is learn from our mistakes and become better people. A year later, I received a letter. The envelope had no return address. I opened it carefully. Inside was a short message. It was from Michael, Sarah's husband. The letter said, "I still miss Sarah every day. I probably always will. What happened can never be changed, but I heard that you returned to work. I hope you never forget what happened, and I hope you continue helping people, for Sarah's sake." I read those words several times, then I folded the letter and placed it in my desk. I still have it today. Many years have passed since then. I am still a doctor. I still help patients every day, but I am not the same person I was before. Now, whenever I enter a patient's room, I remember Sarah. Whenever I feel tired, I remember Sarah. Whenever I think I already know the answer, I remember Sarah. Because one mistake taught me something I should have known all along. Being a doctor is not about being perfect. It is about being careful. It is about being honest. It is about accepting responsibility. And sometimes the hardest lessons are the ones we never forget. Now, let's learn some important words from the story. Misdiagnose means to identify an illness incorrectly. A doctor may misdiagnose a patient if the symptoms are confusing. Appendix means a small organ connected to the large intestine. An infected appendix can be very dangerous. Complication means an additional problem that makes a situation worse. Sarah suffered serious complications. Investigation means a careful search for facts and truth. The hospital started an investigation. Responsible means having a duty or being the cause of something. Daniel felt responsible for the mistake. Suspended means temporarily removed from work. Daniel was suspended for 6 months. Fatigue means extreme tiredness. Fatigue can affect judgment and concentration. Confidence means belief in yourself and your abilities. Too much confidence can sometimes be dangerous. Regret means feeling sadness about something that happened in the past. Daniel felt deep regret. Trust means believing that someone will do the right thing. Patients trusted Daniel with their lives. This will help you speak English more naturally and confidently. Thank you so much for listening to this story. I hope you learned not only English, but also something about responsibility, humility, and personal growth. Now, I have a few questions for you. Do you think Dr. Carter deserved a second chance? Can a person be forgiven after making a serious mistake? What would you do if you were in his position? Write your thoughts in the comments below. Take care of yourself, keep learning English, and I will see you in the next story.